Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe at home. So guys, today we are going to be talking about aerial roots and why do they appear on our succulents. Are they good or are they bad? Now generally roots are the most important part of any plant. The purpose of them is to absorb water and nutrients from the soil, so hence they are usually beneath the soil. Majority of the plants are going to have their roots beneath the soil, but there are few varieties of plants that might send out aerial roots, which is very common. But for our succulents to send out aerial roots is something very unusual. So let's try to understand why exactly it could be a reason for concern. Now guys, let's assume for example you are in a room that's completely closed and you start feeling claustrophobic. What's the next thing that you're going to do is you're either going to open the window or you're going to open the door and get out of that room so that you can have some fresh air. Now that's exactly what's happening with your succulent. There is some underlying problem that's going on, due to which rather than sending out its roots much deeper into the soil, it's starting to send out aerial roots. So the aerial roots in general will not harm the succulent in any way, but the reason behind why the aerial roots are being produced by the succulent could be a matter of concern. Now guys, as we go forward to the video, I'll be sharing some reasons what could lead to aerial roots. Now it could be either one reason, two reasons, mix of one and two reasons, or it could be a combination of all the reasons. So you'll have to definitely take a check on why that's happening. If there is any of these reasons that's affecting your succulent, due to which it's sending out the aerial roots. So the reason number one could be improper soil or improper potting mix. Like the succulent over here you can see is sitting in a very heavy and compact soil, due to which the succulent is not able to develop any roots or is not able to absorb any water or nutrients from the soil, due to which the succulent has gone ahead and sent out aerial roots that are above the soil level. Now as of now the succulent looks fine, but if the soil is not changed, the succulent is gonna have problems and might even be fatal for the succulent. Reason number two could be lack of soil and space in the original pot. Now here I had a cutting of string of bananas that was placed in a small pot with very little soil because it was just a small cutting. But over the period of time the succulent started growing rapidly, that it started running out of space in its original pot. You can see how it has sent out these aerial roots that are latched on to the pot, and you can see this has not stopped the succulent from growing. This is not it. The succulent further started trailing and started entering into another pot that was beneath, that had space and some soil. It went ahead and anchored its roots into another pot, and here you can see how well the roots have been formed. But this has not stopped there. It has continued to grow further. You can see again there are some more of aerial roots at the tip of the succulent, and I think this shows that the succulent has no sign of stopping. It is going to continue growing, which is a very good part. Reason number three, lack of sunlight. Now guys, lack of sunlight can also make the succulent send out aerial roots like the one you can see over here. Now this succulent was stretched a lot. You can see the stem from where it has started to stretch in order to get that perfect sunlight. Now the moment it started receiving the sunlight, it stopped stretching and it started growing. At the same time, it started sending out a lot of aerial roots so that it can be much easier for the succulent to absorb some moisture from the air. Reason number four could be lack of water. Now guys, I know it's very surprising that lack of water could also lead to aerial rooting. Now yes guys, there are certain succulents that tend to like a little bit more watering compared to other succulents. Now these succulents, if they have been deprived of water for a very long time, then they tend to send out aerial roots. Now with the help of these aerial roots, they tend to absorb moisture from the air, which helps them keep hydrated. Now there are a couple of succulents that would send out aerial roots whenever they feel that they are being underwatered. Now aerial roots would be very visible or very common, especially during winters or during monsoon season when there is a lot of moisture in the air. This helps the succulent get some extra water by just sending the aerial roots. So this is one of the most common reasons why succulents send out aerial roots is because they want to absorb moisture from the air. Reason number 5 could be damage to the original roots or to the original stem. Now here is a pot of jelly beans that were placed in direct sunlight, due to which majority of the stem and the roots were burnt because of the harsh sunlight. But these aerial roots help the succulent during this time. You can see the succulent sent out these aerial roots so that it could absorb moisture from the air. Now, because of these aerial roots, the succulent leaves are still very healthy. They are still full of water. They have not dried up. If the succulent hadn't sent any aerial roots, definitely the succulent would have dried up. But in a way, you can see these aerial roots have helped the succulent stay alive by absorbing moisture from the air, even though its original stem or the original roots were damaged, but it still managed to survive. So in a way, you can say that these aerial roots are kind of a backup, you can say, to help the succulent survive. So guys, as I said that there were few reasons. Either it could be one reason or two reasons, or it can be a combination of couple of reasons that could lead to your succulent sending out aerial roots. Now the same thing goes over here, the succulent that I showed you earlier, the string of bananas. Now there were two reasons why this succulent started sending out aerial roots. Now if we take a look at the succulent leaves closer, you can see that there is a lot of space in between the leaves, which also indicates that there were two reasons for this succulent to stretch. One was lack of space, lack of soil, and also lack of sunlight, due to which it sent out aerial roots. So what can be done next is you will have to examine and check whether your succulent needs little bit more watering, or does it need some more space, or if you need to make some amendments to the soil, or if you need to provide your succulent with more sunlight. But guys, the best part about aerial roots is that you already have formed roots on your succulents. So the best way is you can go ahead and behead your succulents. All you have to do is just go ahead and either you can cut or behead the succulents just where you can see the roots. Now after beheading the succulent, you already have the roots, but there is one important thing that you have to do, and that is you have to let the cut callus over. Do not just start watering the succulent, because there is going to be an open wound and the succulent will rot. So you have to let it callus, and then you can put it in the soil. Now here you do not have to wait for the roots to come, because they are already formed. So this is one of the easy and the best way to multiply succulents as well. So even the succulent that was stretched due to lack of sunlight can also be beheaded like this. Now the succulent already has a good amount of roots, so you don't have to be worried. But you have to be careful, because you have to let the cut heal and callus, and then you can move them into the soil. Now guys, because it already has a good amount of roots, it's gonna be very easy for the succulent to pick up and start growing. So these are the bunch of jelly beans that were beheaded from the original pot of jelly beans. You can see the older aerial roots are still present. Now that they have been moved to a new pot, you can see there is a lot of new growth. The new stem looks much healthy and does not have any aerial roots. There is a leaf that was fallen down while repotting, which is also rooted and ready for the new life. But overall, you can see if you give them the right conditions, if you place them in the right place, the aerial roots will not come back. But again, you have to maintain the same healthy conditions to avoid aerial roots. So guys, these were the reasons behind the aerial roots. Now these were some of the reasons. There could be some more as well, and as and when we start learning more about succulents, and if I come across any new reason behind the aerial roots, I will definitely keep you guys informed. So guys, I hope that this video on aerial roots was helpful, and in case if you're facing this issue, probably you can just look into it and check what's the reason behind it. I hope guys this video was helpful. If it was, please consider subscribing to my channel. Until then, take care, stay safe, bye bye.